Hey, what's up? It's your host, Torry, and who is ready to be petty? As y'all have probably noticed, I took an accidental break from podcasting, kind of like when you take those accidental naps in the afternoon. But it's been a few weeks, maybe 3 weeks since I released my last podcast. But today I'm back with Leeza from the Leeza Rants Podcast. And we talk about Will, Jada and August. We talk about Khloe and Tristan. Talk about Hamilton. And we talk about Kanye running for president. And I hope you like it. It is a little bit outdated. We recorded in early July. And I do apologize. But I was really busy with work and with my family. Doing some fun summer things. So I apologize in advance. But I've already got another podcast recorded about Folklore, Taylor Swift's new album, so there won't be as long as a break. So I want to thank you all for tuning in again, and I hope you enjoy the show. I'm joined by a very special guest today, Leeza from the Leeza Rants Podcast. How are you?
I'm so good. Thank you for having me on.
Thanks for coming. I'm so stoked. I feel like our podcasts have a lot in common.
Yes. I told my friends I was going to be on your podcast, and I was like, the title alone, I'm like, it's very on brand, and it's going to be a great time.
Yeah, I feel like I am also just ranting all of the time. So I'm very glad that you can be here. Can you tell a little bit about your podcast?
Yeah, so it's the Leeza Rants Podcast, and I basically go on legitimate rants about like anything adulting, pop culture, relationships, career, but all my episodes like provide value. So like anyone who's listening, like millennials or Gen Zers, like it helps us like stay motivated, have confidence, and just kind of learn about things, like helping us navigate adulthood because it's really hard.
And I think your social media also is like, I don't know, just provides like great insight to all of these topics. I was listening to episode 37. You have like over 100 episodes, but
Yeah.
episode 37 like really stood out to me. It was about like being stuck, just kind of being in like a rut and how to get out of that. And I was, obsessed.
Oh my God, thank you. Yeah, I literally, it's funny how like personal I can get. Like I just go on these rants and just like spill my heart out, and it's just awesome that people can actually relate to it. So it's great.
Totally, because you're being like super vulnerable, and I think people really appeal to that.
That's like honestly the most rewarding part about podcasting.
When people like get where you're coming from, or I love that. That feels great. So today we're going to talk about some fun things. We're going to talk about Jada Pinkett-Smith and her alleged affair, Khloe and Tristan's alleged engagement.
All things alleged.
Don't want to commit to that right now, but two other things: Kanye West announcing his run for presidency, and then Hamilton being released on Disney Plus. So I'm like really stoked for this episode.
Yeah, me too. I'm ready. Like I have so many thoughts.
Oh, I know. Okay, let's get into it. So Jada Pinkett-Smith, obviously wife of Will Smith.
Yeah, iconic couple.
Iconic couple, like amazing actress. She hosts Red Table Talk.
Mm-hmm.
She's been in the news a lot lately, I think, just from her talk show, like having amazing guests and like really getting to like some juicy topics.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I love her show, and I think that like it's kind of weird now because I feel like the Smiths were very like untouchable. We didn't really know much about them, but now we have like an insight on them, and now it just gets people talking so much more.
I feel like bad now that I introduced her as like the wife of she's very accomplished on her own, but that's probably how people know her best because Will Smith is a very popular actor.
Yeah, definitely. They come like as a package, I feel like, just like the most like iconic like Hollywood couple that stayed together for so long, I think, too. So
Totally, because they've been married for like over 20 years
Mhm.
and they have two beautiful children, Jaden and Willow, who everyone also probably knows.
Yep.
But recently, August Alsina came out on an article and like an Instagram post that he had an alleged affair with Jada Pinkett-Smith.
Yeah. Okay, so if we rewind back, because I made sure to do like research. So he was actually on the Red Table Talk like months ago.
Yeah.
And it was about how like he, was on drugs and she was like there for him. I'm putting quotation marks with my hands right now. For a while, people were talking about just like how their relationship was kind of weird. Like, like he's in his 20s and she's like a married woman, but I don't think anyone thought anything about it because it's just kind of like, okay, maybe it's just a mentor type of thing, like harmless. And it was funny because when this all came out, I went back to watch that episode because I wanted to see like the dynamics and see how like they were talking to each other, and nothing like came off in a like inappropriate way. So I don't know. It's just like, what are your thoughts?
I think it's like really interesting because, and I think it's like probably true, but I think like there's been these kind of rumors for like a while.
Yeah.
And I don't know, sometimes I feel like when they've been like a rumor for like a few months or years even, there's
Mm-hmm.
a seed of truth. And
Yeah.
I'm wondering if they like just have an open relationship or like an open marriage.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and like you said, that rumor has been out for a while. Just their marriage in general, how people said like years ago that they might be swingers, and there was always like divorce rumors and things like that. So, but again, it was just talk. Like it was never confirmed like this. So I think for someone to come out and say it, it's like really shocking, and I think that's why everyone's talking about it.
Totally. It's super shocking. And then when Jada tweeted that she was going to take herself to the red table.
Oh my God. I was like, yes. Wait, I'm actually so upset because I thought it was going to come out yesterday because usually she posts like on Wednesdays. But it's not coming out till next week, which is unfortunate because we could have talked about it.
I know, but maybe we can do like a quick follow up. Like, do you think that this is going to be where she like actually says, like, yes, this is happening? Like, this is what's up with Will and I's like marriage?
I would hope. I don't know because it feels like I get I get a vibe from Will that he really likes like a good image. Like even when I watch their show, like he wants to be like the perfect family and all. Like he really cares about his reputation. So I just don't think that I feel like he's probably really upset like behind closed doors right now. Like he's pissed. Like he does not want people to talk about them like this. Like just the kind of guy I think that Will is. So I'm kind of curious to see what approach they take. Are they just going to come out with it, or are they going to just deny?
Yeah, like have more like of a polished statement together because that's what it's always been. Like,
Yeah.
I feel like they have such a good partnership. He's always backing her up. She's always backing him up, like in every interview and everything.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, it is kind of wild that especially this rumor seemed to, yeah, strike a chord with them because, yeah, she said she was going to talk about it on her show.
Yeah. And well, they also didn't they both come out with a statement saying like denying it? I think I did see that.
Okay, I didn't see that. I've only read all of the articles that August is talking in.
Okay, yeah. Yeah. So no, I don't know, but I think I did see something that they're denying it, but once she comes to the table, she'll have to really be clear about like what is going on. So I'm totally excited. I think this episode might be like even bigger than like the Jordan Woods episode. Like it's going to be huge.
Can you remember the build up to that episode?
Yes.
My friends and I were like counting down, and I think because we're West Coast, it got released like during the middle of our workday, and we all had like tabs up, like ready, like to go.
I know. I was lucky because it was like my lunchtime, so I was like, okay, bye. Like I just like went off and just like watched it while I ate lunch. Yeah, it was crazy.
I don't know. It stirred up a lot of like headlines in like the year or so that it's been happening.
Yeah.
even a little bit longer. Time seems like a weird phenomenon right now. Yeah, she gets like really into like topics that for celebrities are a lot of the times off the table.
Mm-hmm. Literally.
I really, really like appreciate that. So I like cannot wait for this episode to come out.
Yeah, for sure. And I don't know, there's been a lot of conflicting opinions because like I think the reason why it's causing such a stir, because I've seen people like online, they're like, who cares what they do if they have an open marriage, it's fine. Like, and of course it's fine. But I think that we look at them in such a high regard. Like they're just like the standard for like successful relationships. So I think that it's hard for people to wrap their heads around the fact that they, you know, might not be monogamous or they might have an open marriage. Like it's just weird for us to think about that they don't have like a traditional marriage, I think.
People can't like comprehend that, yeah, someone that seems so classic as them might have, yeah, something that's a little bit more non-traditional. But like, I think like it actually kind of fits. Like, if I really think about it, I do agree that Will seems like a more traditional guy, but
Mm-hmm.
I think, like their kids are like the definition of non-traditional, which like I love.
Yeah, me too.
And I think that's like a product of probably like their parenting and their relationship. So I don't know. I don't think it's that far fetched. And I think like if
Mm-hmm.
they have a partnership that's like this and it works for both of them, then like great.
Yeah, exactly. It makes me think, do you think that like if there's a rumor about something that it's probably true? Like when there's smoke, there's fire?
Okay, that is something that I've actually been like really, really thinking about because I just think about like I've been reading like tabloids and news articles about celebrities literally since I was like 10 probably.
Yeah.
Like when I used to read them in like actual like physical like magazines. Um,
Hmm.
and I just feel like some of the rumors that I don't know, that keep coming up year after year might have some like seeds of truth. Like
Yeah.
I don't know, I just feel like I feel like since they're tabloids, people are like, "Oh, this is probably fake." But I actually think that a lot of times they're actually true.
Yeah, exactly. I don't know. It's like you don't want to believe them, but it's just like if people keep saying it, it's like there has to be something there, you know?
Completely. Like, I'm not talking about the tabloids like that's like Jennifer Aniston like wants to have a baby. Like not the like,
Yeah.
that's like made up shit. But like when it's like real stories like this, I feel like after years it like gets confirmed when it's not so big or like people that are close to these celebrities like just get paid off and like leak stuff or like I had never heard of August Alsina before this. Like have you, not saying that he's doing it for clout or anything, but like had you heard?
Yeah, I mean, I think when I was in college, he had like a few hits. So, like, I definitely know who he is, but like, yeah, he hasn't really been, you know, super famous in the recent years. So, and he actually did just come out with an album.
Wild.
So, perfect timing.
We've had these rumors for a long time, but like I might play into them when it's like maybe more convenient for me.
Hmm.
I don't know.
Yeah, because he said, well, he's a young guy. I think he's only 27.
Yeah.
And so he said that in the interview, he said he was in a relationship and he doesn't define what that is. And I wish he would have. But he was in a relationship with her for like a lot of years of his life, which is like kind of crazy because it's like how old were you, you know? And then because they actually went on a red carpet together in like 2013, so he was like early 20s. And so I'm just like, why come out with it now when your clout has gone down? I just feel like you're trying to get a story, but then again it's like, why would he just like lie, you know? So it's like I think he's like, I don't, it's like I think he's telling the truth, but I also think he's using it in a time where it could be beneficial.
100%, which like sucks. Like if like on Jada and Will's part, if they didn't want this to come out and then he like did release it, like that's, I feel like, such a like betrayal. But
Mm.
yeah, like it does seem like it wasn't, yeah, like kind of those affairs that we think of. It seems like it was like a legit relationship.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think that's why everyone's like, okay, well, clearly Will and Jada might or must be in like an open arrangement or something. And she's also alluded to things on the show. What did she call them? She called them like, she's like, we're not in a marriage, we're in a life partnership.
Yes, life partnership is the wording that I've heard, which like seems kind of like maybe the marriage has like transformed over time. Like they have been together like forever. So
Mm-hmm. And I was always really curious about what that really meant. So, them calling themselves that, I guess it, like you said, it's not far off to think that like, okay, that kind of means that maybe they're together, but then they can do whatever they want, or, it's definitely not a traditional marriage like we thought it was. So
I also think that their kids are really young. And I think like a lot of parents want to like be together for their kids while they're growing up. And I feel like also relationships that are like decades long maybe do kind of maybe transform more into like companionship and partnership. So they're also like really young at heart, I feel. So I don't know. This doesn't feel super far off from me.
yeah, exactly. And I also saw a clip because people were just bringing out receipts, like trying to prove things. So I saw on Twitter someone posted like a little clip, and Jada was like, it was Will and Jada. They were like, divorce is not an option. Like, if he's gonna be on that other side of the house with someone else, I don't care. Like, we're not getting a divorce. And like, it was just such a weird thing to say. So again, that alludes to like, I don't care, even if you have someone on the side, we're still together. Like, we are one, like we're a partnership. So, they've had like these little hints over the years that like it's probably not like a monogamous situation.
There's been these rumors, and I feel like a lot of the times Will and Jada do address it, and they do say like, these don't bother us, like we are so solid, like we're in this for the long haul, like these things don't bother us. And I'm wondering again if it's like, if Jada was in a relationship with August, got Will's blessing to like move forward, and they had like open communication, then yeah, maybe they are like completely fine with it. And
Mm-hmm.
yeah, that's why they can kind of hint that like everything's all good, because it's just kind of different than what we imagined.
Yeah. If you could predict how it's going to play out, like, what would you think? Like, what do you think her approach is going to be? I'm just so curious.
I know. I think like she is so much more vulnerable on this show than, yeah, they have been in the past. Like when they're doing interviews and stuff, kind of like traditional like media. And like I think because that this is on her own terms, she feels more comfortable with like the way that it will come out. So honestly, I actually think if she doesn't directly say that she was in a relationship with him, I think that she'll say that she and Will have like an open relationship.
Ooh, that would be so crazy. Like, oh my God, like the internet's going to blow up that day if she like says that.
Do you think that's like accurate, or do you think she's going to like go full in? Do you think she's going to deny it?
Yeah, I really don't know because I just feel like I just have this impression of them that they really want to look a certain way. So I just don't know if they would be that raw and open about something like that. I don't know. I'm just really curious. Like, so okay, like, so you're saying that she's gonna like just be out there and say it. I'll just go the other side. I'll say she's gonna deny it.
Yeah.
So we'll see. Then we'll come back together and like.
I just feel like at this time, especially with this TV show, maybe she thinks like, oh, this is like a good time to like stop denying and like just
Yeah.
put it all out there. But yeah, I agree. Like, I think people in Hollywood are always worried that like super judgy people just like wouldn't get it, or that like that they would be like under fire for something like this.
Yeah. So I don't know. We'll have to see.
Be her by herself, or do you think that she'll bring like other people, like she always has like her mom, or like
I think it'll be either her by herself or it'll be her and Will.
Wild.
That's what I'm thinking. I don't think that the family would be on it, but maybe. I don't know.
Oh my goodness.
I'm worried about how Willow and Jaden are feeling. Like that's weird for everyone to be talking about your parents' marriage, like in the world, you know. It's just, that's so embarrassing to like have people say that your mom's having an affair. Like, I don't know, it's pretty tough on the Smith household right now, for sure, I bet.
Yeah, I can only imagine that they're going through like a difficult time. Again, unless if Jada was in like a legit relationship for years with August, like I wonder, like, does that include like hanging out with their kids? Like, I don't know. But I think like, especially with all of that like Shane Dawson and Willow Smith stuff, that family is just like going through the ringer right now. Like,
yeah, they really are.
Yeah, but I think like their kids, I think they really like get it, and they obviously grew up in fame and like
spotlight. Yeah.
This type of spotlight, and I think that they just handle it like really, really well. But obviously they're really young, so how much of this can you like really handle?
And isn't August probably only like 6 years older than Jaden? Like, ew, I don't know. Is this so weird?
He's in his early 20s, so they're like,
yeah, Jaden's 22 and August is 27.
27. That's so weird. I feel like that's like another celebrity thing, that age gaps seem a lot more common than in like the rest of us. Like,
yeah. Oh yeah, totally. Yeah, they'll date whoever, like Sophia Richie and like Scott. Like, it's just like a 15-year age difference, but like no one cares.
I was literally just talking to them, and they're the first people that like came to mind, is because like she was like 18 when they started dating, I believe, and I was thinking about Mason, who was like 10 at the time or something like that. Like,
literally
kind of the same age gap as Jada and August, which is just so weird to me.
It's really weird. Kind of gross.
Another couple that we wanted to talk about is Khloe and Tristan.
Ugh.
Which, like, honestly,
it's like you have no words at this point. This is where I'm gonna get riled up and go on a rant, because it's like, Khloe used to be my favorite, and I feel like everyone says that, like, Khloe's my favorite, and then it's just like, because she was always the smart one and like the level-headed one, but she is so dumb in love. Like, why?
She is literally, I think, so blind to so many like problematic red flags from these dudes.
Extremely problematic.
My God, like, Khloe, she's amazing. Like, I think she's so funny. She's smart. She's such a successful businesswoman. She's beautiful. And she just like could date anybody, and she dates these absolute duds.
I know. Yeah.
Yeah. So Khloe and Tristan were quarantining together, which I actually totally understood. Like, they have a like 1 or 2 year old baby, and who knows, like, especially at the beginning of COVID, like, we didn't really know what was going to happen. So like, might as well stick together so Tristan could still see True. But then there was rumors that they were like allegedly engaged.
I know. It was just, I was literally like looking at the article. I'm like, if this is true, I'm just gonna like die, because it's just like insane. Because I don't know, did you watch like the last season of Kardashians?
Yes.
Yeah. I did too. I watched, like, I love them. But it's just, the episode when she was like trying to make embryos with him, I was just like so confused.
I loved when she was like, I'm gonna like freeze some of my eggs and make embryos, and Kim was like, with who? She's like,
literally, like, what?
didn't even know. That was like so funny to me. And she's like, Tristan, duh. And their faces is like, so I think it was Courtney and Kim. Their face was like, what are you talking about? Like, that is so random.
Literally, because like you're not even with him. Like he cheated on you twice publicly.
Yeah.
Who knows how many times non-publicly? And it's just like you're just like, okay, yeah, we're gonna have another baby, but like we're not together. It's like, yeah, like you are together. Like it's like, do you guys think we're dumb? And then even like, sorry, I'm going off, but like even in the episode where like Tristan was like, you guys should move here. Like I want True to like stay with me. It's like, what's the point of like her flying there with True just for him to be working all day and then he comes home and just like kisses her goodnight and then like that's it. It's like I just feel like I need to heal from like the heartbreak that you put me through. Like I'm not just gonna like come live with you and just like I don't know. I feel like he was just trying to get closer to her again by using like the baby, not as an excuse because obviously like he's the dad and he wants to see his child, but like it just seemed like they were using True as a like excuse to like try to get back together. And it's just like I wouldn't even want to like be near him. I would just be like, go to the nanny and go to your dad and like come back, like, you know, like I just wouldn't. I don't know, I'm just so, maybe I'm just because I'm like a bitter like Scorpio or something, but I just feel like she didn't take any time. I don't know, I just feel like she wasn't mad at him at all. Like she just kind of like let it go. And it's like that was literally so embarrassing for him to cheat publicly while she was about to literally give birth, and then again with Jordan Woods. Like that is so embarrassing. I don't think I could ever just like come back from that.
Completely. Like, even the way, like, obviously, like, maybe she's a better person than I am, but like,
Right.
she like is basically like completely fine, like talking to him and like being in pictures, inviting him to birthday parties. Like, I think is so wild because I'd be like, I can't even look at you right now. I feel like Tristan just wants to clear his name as like the guy that cheats on two pregnant girlfriends, like when they're like a month away from giving birth.
Yeah.
That with like his previous girlfriend cheating with Khloe. And I just feel like he would want to like clear his name. And so to like get back together with Khloe would just be like maybe the ultimate, I don't know, answer.
Yeah, I don't get it. Yeah, he just wants to clear his reputation, I guess, but it's just like so like pathetic. But just bringing up how his ex, like how they got together, like Khloe and Tristan, like it's, you know, they said that like he cheated on his previous baby mother with her, and it's just like they always say like you lose them how you get them, you know what I mean? And it's just like so ironic that that happened if that was true, because I know Khloe like denied it, but a lot of people say it's true. And it's just like, I don't know, I guess you can't be mad at someone who did the same thing for you, you know? So it's just horrible.
I was even shocked that they were quarantining together because it seemed like they had a pretty separate relationship for the first year of True's life. Like
Mm-hmm.
she invited him to like big family events, but like it really seemed like that was it.
Yeah.
And so obviously they've been like hanging out together so much more, but then rumors came out that they were engaged. Like, do you think that that's true?
I hope not, but Chloe just seems to be like a hopeless romantic. And I mean, because, you know, she even got married to Lamar in like a month, you know what I mean? So it wouldn't surprise me if they were, but it would be very unfortunate for sure.
Completely. It's so funny that you say that because I was just talking about Khloe and her love life on our
Mhm.
past episode, and it was with a psychologist, and she was saying like, I think Khloe kind of plays this martyr role and this like savior kind
Totally.
of role with guys, and like I feel like that actually is like good analysis. Like I feel like that's true. That was the same with Lamar as it is with Tristan.
Yeah. And but that she's had to be that, I think, for the family for so long too. Like she's just used to that. And it's just sad to me because I just feel like, and I think you can kind of see this theme with all of the sisters, but like for them to be such powerful women, they have like, it seems like they have like low self-esteem in that way of just like, I don't know. I feel like they always just get back with the same guys, and I don't know. It just they just don't seem to have a lot of luck with relationships. So it's just really sad.
I know. And like, that's what I was like kind of wondering is like, can they have successful relationships? Like, not in the terms that they're like successful businesswomen and you can't have both, but like, I just feel like the way that they grew up in Hollywood and like their kind of role modeling was with Kris and Robert Kardashian, and like Kris cheated on him, like they
Yeah,
divorced, like
totally messed up from that for sure.
yeah, like it just kind of seems like this is just like an area that they kind of like struggle in, which obviously is sad, but
Mm-hmm.
yeah, I just really hope that she ditches that loser and like dates someone else.
Me too, desperately. Like she deserves such a good partner, and it just, yeah, it's sad that it just doesn't seem to really ever work for her. So
Do you think because of their like status that it's just really tough for them to like I feel like this is the same maybe with Courtney. Like, do you think guys like don't approach them and stuff because they're like so famous and like so, I don't know, like public?
yeah, I mean, so like I feel like obviously being who they are, they have to date someone who's just as like, if not almost as famous as them. Like Kylie Jenner and Travis Scott, like they're like on the same kind of level of like, well, not the same level of fame, but you know, he's very established in his own right. Like Kim and Kanye, like he's very established in his own right. So they need someone like that who's also like successful in pop culture, who's also well known, because like obviously being with a Kardashian is not easy. Like if you're not as famous as them, or if you don't make as much money, like it's going to be very hard as a man, I feel like, to just be in a relationship with someone like that. So for sure. And I think that's why Khloe always dates like these, you know, NBA players, because he like those are the only men who can kind of, you know, be on the same level as her, like with money and just with status. So, but they're not the right people she should be dating. Like, go get like a billionaire or something. I know like Ariana Grande just is dating like a really rich real estate guy in LA. Like, there's other rich men that you can date who aren't like famous, you know?
I think that is such a good point because you're right. I'm always questioning. I'm like, why are these girls going after these football players and these basketball players? Like, a lot of them are like not good people and like not mature and
Exactly.
just like no, it's not a healthy relationship. But you're probably right that because those athletes make so much money that it's like, okay, now I know that it's not because like they're not dating me just for money.
Yeah. It's not like a Corey Gamble situation.
Exactly. Oh my God. I could talk to Corey Gamble and Kris Jenner for like 40 minutes because I find it like so weird.
So weird.
But like I think that's a good point that like the pool seems narrow for them, but you're
Mm-hmm.
right. Go for a businessman, go for like yeah, real estate agent, like
Mm-hmm.
that's yeah, an heir to to some
Yeah, literally.
yeah, just like go for someone else because like these athletes are not working out.
Nope, not at all.
But Khloe went on Twitter and she was like, I just like have been reading up on things and I'm confused. So basically she's denying that they're engaged. Like, do you think she just said that because the public was like, yikes?
Probably. I mean, she's probably denying an engagement. So maybe an engagement didn't happen, but I 100,000,000,000% that think that they're back together. Like, no
Totally.
question.
Totally. Because even when they were at like family events, if they were taking pictures together, it would be kind of like they're like all standing there and it looked tense.
Yeah,
Now I feel like just the pictures that come out, like I'm thinking about the one where they're like laughing on like a trampoline.
I know.
It just looks like a family.
I know. Yep, a happy couple with their baby. Yeah, it's super weird. And like he goes out of his way to be super cringy and like my queen, like the beautiful, amazing Khloe. And I'm just like, this is so annoying. Like he just wants, I don't know. He's just trying to win her back so badly just to clear up his name, I feel like. And it's just I don't like him. He just gives me the heebie-jeebies. I don't like him.
Yeah, I agree that he's super cringe. And like the other thing that I kind of think that this is true is like, I feel like a few months ago, maybe before like COVID happened, people would ask like Kim, like, oh, what's your relationship with Tristan like? Because you like hated him openly on the show.
Yeah, she hated him so much, but like rightly so.
Right? I'm like, he like really hurt her sister. So like I'm glad that she's giving him flack, but she kind of softened. Like she would be like, "Oh yeah, like we're working on like we're better friends now." And like I'm wondering if that also is hinting of like a reconciliation between Khloe and Tristan.
Yeah, definitely. Because even on the show this season, like when they all went out to dinner, like Kim went out to dinner with him, and like I think that they're just trying to make Khloe happy, which I get, but I don't know. They're just way too forgiving, in my opinion, because that just would not fly with me.
Totally. Yeah, I just feel like he made her look like such a dummy, and like I felt so bad for her when she was so pregnant, and this was obviously so stressful.
I know.
And yeah, just imagining her back together with him, I'm like, Khloe, you can do so much better.
So much better.
Yeah, it does make me, I agree that like she was definitely like one of my favorites. I really like Khloe, Kim, and Courtney, like
Mm-hmm.
kind of the OG sisters the best, but
Yeah.
yeah, I definitely kind of like soured a little bit on Khloe just like over the last couple months with like kind of all the plastic surgery, which like to each her own, but
I know. The pictures of her lately, I'm just like, who is that? You know?
oh, it makes me really sad. And then like kind of like thinking about those insecurities and then like continuing to date Tristan makes me like even more sad.
Yeah, it's a recipe for disaster. Like there's just like not a lot of self-love there. I feel like it's unfortunate. Like it's really bad.
Totally. And I kind of think like some of the things like she's the youngest. She's the youngest, right? Rob is older than her.
No, Rob is the youngest.
Youngest. Okay. I always just think about like the age that she was at when like maybe the divorce and stuff was happening and how stressful that would have been and like how she kind of had to play like a mediator role and stuff. And
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I just feel like we see that time and time again in her relationships.
Yeah.
Poor Khloe, honestly. We wanted to talk more about the Kardashians, but
Yes.
with Kim's husband, Kanye West years ago announced, if you live under a rock and don't remember this, he was going to run for president in 2020. And, 6 months in, hadn't heard anything. But he recently announced he is running for president in the 2020 election. What do you think about that?
It is absolutely like absurd to me. Like I just don't even understand like why. Like sometimes with Kanye lately in the past like what year, 2 years, I just don't know if he's just like constantly trolling us or not. Like some of the stuff he says, I'm just like, what are you talking about? And like it's hard because I've always been like a really big Kanye fan, and like, I bought the merch that was overpriced and went to his concert and all this stuff, and I love him, but it's really getting hard for me to like be a fan at this point just because of like all the crazy stuff he says and like what he stands for and things like that. And so just now like trying to be president of the United States is just like, why? And first of all, I thought you were on Trump's side, so I guess you're not anymore. Like it's just weird, and I just don't think we need like celebrities in politics like at all.
He created an independent party called the Birthday Party.
Yes. Okay, yeah, I heard that. Mm-hmm.
So I think that that's what he would be running under. It's so wild. Like, it's like you could not make this up if you even imagined. But
Yeah.
think like this makes me nervous because I know that people were already tepid about Joe Biden. But like the other option is Donald Trump. So like, do you think that people will like actually vote for him? And like, does this actually better Donald Trump's like?
Yeah, 100%. And that people have like this kind of theory that Kanye running is actually gonna just help Trump because it's gonna him coming in the race at this point in the election is gonna divvy up the Democratic vote, you know, like if young people like millennials, Gen Z are actually going to vote for Kanye, it's going to take away from the votes from Joe Biden and it's going to just easily reelect Trump again. So that's definitely a good theory. It's definitely not going to help Joe Biden at all. So I just think it's pretty frustrating, honestly, that he would do this.
I know. And I always think about Kim because Kim, for me, is so level headed. And people are like, that is crazy that you think that. But
I agree.
And then, so I was like, what the fuck is her take on this? But she retweeted Kanye's thing with like a little American flag. So I'm like, she supports it.
But at the end of the day, like, I do think Kim's level-headed and everything, but I think that she wouldn't mind. Like, I feel like Kanye was at home, right? They were at home and he was like, babe, you can be the first lady. Like, can you imagine that? And, you know, as much as we love Kim, like, she does love, like, attention at the end of the day. Like, I think she would love to be the first lady. Like, I'm not going to lie. So I just think that, you know, I mean, she has to support her husband no matter what. We don't know what's being said behind closed doors, but yeah, she went out there publicly, like, advocating for it, and it was pretty shocking. So I don't know, but it's just like, as a celebrity, you have no background in politics. Like, what makes you, I don't know, like, the whole, just America in general. I mean, I feel like as Canadians, you guys probably look at us like, what are they doing down there? Like, they're crazy. But it's just like, celebrities should not be in politics, like, period. Like, and I think Trump has made that like a normal thing. So now anyone and everyone thinks that they can run because clearly you can win without having any knowledge or experience. Like, we've seen it happen, literally. So it just sucks. Like, it just sucks. Like, 2020 sucks in general.
I know. I think that's what it like comes down to. I completely agree that Trump being elected has opened the door for like other celebrities to think that this is actually in the realm of like
possibility,
which is just absolutely so wild to me because you need to have a background in politics and like ideally social justice and like government and history and
exactly.
like world news and like it seems so scary that people that do not have that at all can just run and get elected because you're right, this is exactly what we saw. And I think like Kim, I think you've like hit the nail on the head. I think Kim would love to be first lady. Like,
yeah.
see her like in the outfits and the photo shoots and like everything. And
because
like,
it feels like they're sorry to cut you off, but I feel like they're trying to like do a rebrand in general, like him being like on the gospel route now and just like her doing the prison reform. Like, I think they want to be seen as a more, you know, established like family and like kind of leave like a better legacy for themselves. So I think like being president is just like right up their alley of like what they would want to do or like be seen as, you know? So
and like how many headlines have we seen? Or like I remember that like Cosmo article with the Kardashian girls, like America's first family. They were probably like, Kris Jenner was probably like, that sounds pretty good. Like,
right.
that could be us. And like, I actually think that's like really interesting that you brought up like Kanye's gospel like choir and Kim's like becoming a lawyer and her stance on prison and like her work in prison reform. Like,
Yeah.
I think that this was like the long-term plan.
Mm-hmm.
Like, do you think that all of this was strategy to like get to this point?
Yeah.
You're blowing my mind because I did not think about this like that at all.
I just look into like the bigger picture. Like I just think that everything with them, and I'm not denying that they have like a good relationship or anything because they've been together for such a long time now. But I think that after everything that Kim went through, I think with Kanye, it was like, okay, this is someone who's established. He has a good reputation in hip hop. He loves me, and we're going to be a power couple. Like, we're going to be a huge celebrity couple. It's a mutually beneficial relationship. And I think that they really bond off of being the Wests. Like, they want to be this, like, iconic couple. Like, I remember like years ago when they got engaged, she was on like a radio show and he was like, Kim is like the Marilyn Monroe of our generation. Like she is the most beautiful woman on earth. Like they just want to be like these iconic people. Like he loves to call himself like Steve Jobs and like Walt Disney. Like he wants to be like literally a legend like that. And I think Kim does too. She's literally says, like, there's videos of her when she was, like, 13. She's like, I've always wanted to be famous. I want to be famous. So I just think that everything is super strategic with them. Especially just with Kris Jenner, like, making all her kids, like, huge stars. Like, everything is a strategy. Anytime there's a story about them, it's a strategy. Like, they're brilliant. They are literally so brilliant. And I think that's what, like, they don't get the respect they deserve in that right. The fact that they were building their empires off having no talent and just like they used the media in their favor, and it's just the most incredible thing I've ever seen.
Absolutely. Like I give that family all the props because they have just, you're right, like they became a new type of celebrity. They've had like Kim, I feel like has been famous now for like 10 years, no, more than 10 years, like 20 years. Like,
Yeah.
but the thing that I find so interesting is I would already say Kim and Kanye are legends and like the modern couple, and like they don't need to be like fucking president and first lady to already make a mark on like the landscape. Like everything the Kardashians do dictates like pop culture for us. Like
Yeah, I agree. But I don't know. I think, but it's never gonna stop. Like they always want more. They're gonna always take it to the next step.
Yeah.
And I think, especially in having children now, I think they just want more of a polished image. Like they want to be like respected. You know, like that's why Kim is like doing this prison reform. Like that's why she's more into her businesses now. Like she wants to leave like a good legacy, I think, for her family and Kanye as well.
Completely. And I guess like I respect Kim's work in like prison reform and stuff, but it is really interesting. And like I guess this is everyone always has like an underlying like motive maybe, but like it is really interesting to look at everything through like the lens of it being strategy.
Yeah. Yeah. And yeah, again, and it's not like malicious, but I definitely think that they want a good image. They don't want to be known as reality stars and rappers. Like they want to be like respected, I think.
Totally. And I feel like sometimes strategize has like a negative connotation, which like again, in the world of business and stuff, like no, like you need like look how them strategizing has worked out for them. Like I don't think it's negative at all or like should hold negative connotation. Like they're brilliant. I don't know. I think that this is so wild. It also just like seems I'm like hasn't like the two candidates been like working for the last like 3 or 4 years on their like candidacy, and then he just comes.
I know. So that's why I was just saying, like, I was talking to my friends about it, and I'm like, can he even, like, do this? Like, can he just, like, run, like, right now? Like, we're literally about to vote in, like, a couple months, and it's just, like, I don't think he can just hop in right now, but he can as an independent, and he is, and I don't know, it's just crazy.
I hope that people just look at this with a critical eye and just, yeah, do everything in their power to not have President Trump reelected, because that is just honestly the darkest timeline.
I know. I know. Like, I honestly can't imagine. I mean, luckily I've seen most of the feedback is just like, do not vote for Kanye. Like, I haven't seen anyone say like, oh yeah, I'm gonna vote for him. So that does make me feel good. Hopefully people, won't take away from Joe Biden's vote to vote for Kanye. And I don't know, it stresses me out, but all I can do is my part and just vote when I'm supposed to. And yeah, we'll see what happens. It'll either end 2020 on a good note or a horrible note.
Think it is funny though when he said this like literally how many years ago that he was going to be
yeah,
I feel like it was like 7 or 8 years ago, like and then like he's actually doing it. Like that is just so wild to me.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, stay tuned. Like everybody's waiting with bated breath to see how this one turns out. So
yep. Me too. Nothing surprises me at this point, like literally nothing. Like
absolutely nothing. Like, my goodness. Okay, the last thing we wanted to talk about is Hamilton being released on Disney Plus. Have you watched it?
Yes, I just watched it this past weekend, and I have like kind of unpopular opinions.
Oh my God. Okay, lay it on me. Because like this is, again, as a Canadian, I don't know the like intricacies, so I'm like very interested to see what you say.
So, okay, background, I love musicals and theater. Like my mom has been taking me for years. I've seen basically all the huge plays that you could see. Like literally name it and I've seen it. So, couple years back, we tried to get tickets to Hamilton, but it's just like you could not go. Like literally you could never go. It was always sold out for months in advance. You just literally could not go. So we were really excited when it got announced that it was coming to Disney Plus. So we sat down and watched it. We saw that it was like almost 3 hours long. We're like, oh my God, okay, let's do this. And I think for me, I think when someone hypes something so much that my expectations are like through the roof. So I was waiting to be like blown away. And I just wasn't. Like I'm really sad to say that, but I just wasn't. I understand why people like it because it's so different. Like from the storyline to the way that it incorporates a lot of like hip hop and R&B. It's like they're telling a story about the 1700s, but it's all like through rap, and like the music is incredible. It's really good. But overall, the play itself, I just didn't really like enjoy it that much. I thought it was very slow. Like I remember like first 30 minutes were like, what's happening? And I don't know. I just think it's like a little overhyped, and I know that people are gonna kill me for saying that, but I just didn't. I think only because I feel like if I would have watched it like years ago when no one told me that it was good, maybe my opinion would.
Totally. I do agree with you that some parts are slow, and maybe that's just because I'm like not a history buff or like don't know the intricacies of like that time at like Hamilton and George Washington and like all of those people. But yeah, I agree. Like there are some like songs or pieces that they like obviously needed to put in there to like not skip over, but like that like weren't like fascinating.
Yeah. But I mean, by the end of it, like I was fully like crying. Like it was good. I'm not gonna sit here and be like it was bad. I think I just don't like. I wish I just would have like went into it with a blind eye. Like I don't like relying on people's opinions, because I just think when people talk about something so much, you're just expecting like this crazy thing, and it just wasn't as incredible as I think people made it seem, in my opinion.
I completely agree though. Like when there is an expectation for something to be like the best thing you've ever seen, I always like look at it more with like a critical eye and like
exactly
pick out flaws in it, which like obviously is probably not the best mindset to have. But yeah, I agree with you that like just because like its heyday was like 2015, 2016, which is like 4 years ago.
Yeah.
Like it was talked about as like the best musical that like has ever been in existence. And yeah, just with the ticket prices and all of the like, I think it really brought musicals into kind of like pop culture, like just with all of like the, I don't know, the fever around it. But
Mm-hmm.
I really enjoyed it. I agree that there were slow parts, like a 3 hour musical. And okay, I was actually shocked because there was no like speaking in it.
I know. I said that to my mom. I was like, oh my god, literally the whole thing is like a literal musical. Like they're not even acting. It's just like they're singing the entire time. It's crazy.
Yeah, which is so crazy. But I think the parts that I did really like about it were obviously like the emotional pieces, like the spoiler alert, but
Yes, spoiler.
uh, the scenes with like Eliza and Alexander when their son was killed.
Yeah, I was like devastated.
Devastated, like it was so sad. And then obviously like Angelica, like the beginning, like Satisfied is like so
That
emotional.
was cute. Yeah.
So those were definitely the highlights for me and probably everyone else. And I think like just the thing that I appreciate is just like the stamina of those people. Like they are rapping, they are singing, they are dancing, they are hitting all of these cues for literally 3 hours. It seems like it's a really small cast and like chorus.
Mm-hmm.
They never get breaks. So like I'm just so impressed by those pieces.
Yeah. The talent was out of this world. Like the music and just the talent was incredible. So I'm not taking away from that. It was good. Like I totally enjoyed it. I just I would I say it's like the best musical I've ever seen? I don't know, So that's all. But yeah, I think it's really cool. How do you think this is going to impact theater? Cuz I feel like them putting this on Disney Plus was just so unlike anything you've ever seen. It kind of gave access to the masses to see like this crazy popular show that we wouldn't have I literally was not able to see it. So I think it's cool that they did that.
Yeah, I think that's a really good point about like how like not even just Hamilton, but Hamilton on Disney Plus is changing the landscape. And I really hope that other musicals follow suit. Like, because I live on Vancouver Island on the west coast of Canada.
Mm-hmm.
So basically, no major production comes to my city. The
Yeah.
closest would be to go to Vancouver, but obviously, like, that's expensive.
Right.
It's really inaccessible for people like where I live. And obviously there's tons of local musicals and smaller productions here, but like kind of those really, really big ones, we would just probably never be able to see. And yeah, I really hope that things follow suit. Like I was talking to my friends about this and I was like, this was recorded in 2016. Like they've had this footage for 4 years.
I know, it's so weird.
Then I was kind of looking on Twitter and stuff, and it seems like a lot of musicals are taped like this, and the the tapes are just like held. So
I know.
it seems so weird that they wouldn't want to release them and to get more eyes on it, especially ones with like kind of like a lot of political statements like Hamilton.
Yeah.
Um and I think the other piece that I just think about is people are concerned that it like people won't go to the theater. And I'm like, no, like,
Oh, yeah.
and that going to the theater is a way better. Like, I was watching on my like fucking shitty like PC laptop. Like, I like it does not replace going to the theater. Like, I will still
No
go
way.
at any chance I can get. So
Right. Yeah, exactly.
yeah. What do you think? Do you think that other musicals will follow suit, or do you think that this is like one and done?
No, I mean, I think that they should, like any musical that's really popular, again, to get more eyes on it, and I think it's honestly like you said, it's not going to drive people away from the theater. It's actually going to drive people to the theater. Like if they saw it on Disney Plus and they loved it, like I'm sure right now a lot of people are like, oh, I want to see Hamilton in person. Like I want to see it in real life. So I think that it won't do any harm. Like it'll only like benefit, musicals in general, I think.
Completely. Yeah, I think you're right that tons of people, like, I don't think, well, yeah, I would have never seen it if it didn't come on Disney Plus, but like, I wonder if even if it was a different musical that they picked, like, I wonder if I would watch it because there's just so much hype about this one that I feel like I like needed to watch it, even though I like have no interest in like the founding fathers or like whatever.
Yeah, no, exactly. Yeah, I think they would definitely only do it for like musicals that were really popular, maybe like a Wicked or, Chicago, like things like that are iconic. So yeah, but I definitely think that they should keep doing it for sure.
Me too. And I think like people always joke about, like the musicals on like NBC, like they did Grease and Little Mermaid.
Yeah.
People like always joke about that, like kind of being like cheesy and kitschy and stuff like that. But I'm like, no, people love that. Like, really appreciate like, yeah, the accessibility piece.
Exactly. Yeah. It's just making it more accessible. And I think it's important for sure.
Totally. In Hamilton, what do you think the gasp at the end that Eliza had meant?
So when I was watching it, I was kind of like a little confused. And then I guess when I sat and thought about it more, I was thinking that maybe that because the song she was singing was something about like, tell my story. So I'm thinking that she was seeing that they told her story or that she was passing over. I don't know. It was definitely confusing. Yeah, but that's my take.
I like that. I think so too. I think that was, I was really surprised how it ended. Like I don't know. I think I'm going to watch it again. I think that there's so many intricacies that maybe
I missed. Yeah.
Yeah, cuz like also if you haven't seen it and you're going to watch it with the subtitles.
Yeah. I had to stop it like 10 minutes and I'm like, okay, I don't know what's going on. Like I need subtitles.
Completely, yeah. But I also thought like I really liked all the costumes, like the Skylar sister costumes, and yeah, I think I was blown away just like the stamina of these actors.
Yeah, it was
and
great.
Yeah,
and the king, I enjoyed like the king when he would come out and just do his little like solo song. Like that was so funny.
It was so funny. That actually like is a good point that like that's kind of what I'm looking for in a musical, like tears, laughter, surprise, like intrigue, and like it did give it like provided all of those levels.
Yeah, definitely. I agree. But like, oh my god, I feel like Eliza like deserves more. Like I was just so like sad for her character. Like I just one blow after another,
100%. And I think like I didn't get a lot of her like story in the first half, but then when it wraps up, you can really tell that of like why she was asking Hamilton to be like, or Alexander, like more present and to be part of the story and like to contribute. And yeah, and then she goes on to be the person that tells his story. So
yeah, it's beautiful.
Yeah, I did learn a lot. But yeah, I did enjoy it. I do agree that there were some parts that I was like confused just because I don't know the history or like like the first time, because like the actors play two different characters. I did not get that.
Yeah, I was like, wait, I think isn't that the friend who just like died? Like I'm so confused. But no, I did. It's funny too because I saw this on Twitter. And like obviously the cast is like really like good looking people, and I loved how they made it like the characters so like funny and like relatable and stuff. Like Thomas Jefferson like was such a funny character, but then it's like in real life he's just like this like old like gray haired dude, and it's just totally different from how they portrayed the characters. So it's just really funny.
Yeah, do you think that that was like a disservice to people, like to those characters? Like, do you think that that brushed over like some of the like really dark and like gross things that they were a part of?
Yeah, I've seen that controversy. Yes and no, because I don't think the story's really about them. Like, it's based off of them, but it's not about them. Um, I think they were just trying to tell a story in a, 21st century light, and they did a good job at that. And I know there's a lot of controversy, but I don't think that it's really even about them. Like, it's about like the bigger picture. It's about the story. Like, and they're just using these people who were real people and not great people, but they were just using them as a basis for their story that they were trying to tell.
Yeah, I do. I think that that is a good point, that I didn't know that Eliza was going to be like kind of the almost like the main character.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, it was really interesting. I'm going to watch it again and maybe I'll have like different takes, but
Wait, last question for you though.
yes.
I was kind of annoyed. Like, how would I feel like Angelica was like the side chick and just like Eliza just never knew, or like, I don't know. I just thought that was so weird.
Yeah,
So weird.
I think like it was kind of hinted at because there was a few. So in like the song Helpless, I
Mm-hmm.
think Alexander says like um no, okay, sorry. Eliza says um something about like Angelica wanting to like share him, I
Mm.
believe. And then I think in another song, Alexander says, I can like confide in Peggy, and Angelica tried to take a bite of me to Eliza. And then she like turns her head to like maybe scold Angelica, but then he's like, it's okay, it's okay. But yeah, I did not.
You think she knew?
I think she kind of knew that Angelica, like, yeah, maybe liked him, but
Yeah.
that would like that she would never do that. But then they were like corresponding over or email. Oh my god,
Yeah. Letter, yeah.
and stuff like that. So
That was really strange.
yeah, it was really interesting. But I think that that was not necessarily historically accurate. Like I think that they
Oh
played
yeah,
because
probably
they
not.
needed like more of a
Some
love
drama.
story and some drama and something that will like appeal to the masses. But
Mm-hmm.
yeah, it had me laughing, it had me crying.
Yeah,
And
it
I
was good. It was good.
I think like another thing is like I was like Googling like the story afterwards, like, and
Me too.
so
I
like
was
I
like, wait, who's Aaron Burr? Like, who's like all these people? Yeah.
completely, okay, this is like a random side note, but I was in New York like um a few years ago, and I was on like kind of like a walking tour of like these historical points, and like obviously a lot of it is about Alexander Hamilton, and we were like at his grave at like Trinity Church or whatever.
Yeah.
The tour guide was like, okay, I'm just gonna like put on a little performance. So there was like five of us like awkwardly standing in a cemetery, and then he like rapped
Oh my god.
uh
One of the songs.
one of the songs. I think it was like not gonna, oh my god, am I gonna like quote it wrong? Um not giving away my shot. Not giving up.
Oh yeah, I know. I remember that song. I don't know what it's called either, but no, I told you. I know what you're talking about.
It was so awkward. It was just like five of us, and he was just like no background music, just straight up rapping in a cemetery where you're like amongst graves. Like it was
Oh my
so
god. It's so funny.
it, that was like the one thing that I like, the one personal connection I had to the story.
Yeah. That's so funny though.
I think that's all from us today. Thank you so much for coming on this episode.
Thank you. It was so fun talking about all this stuff with you.
Oh, and I really hope we can catch up again after all of this kind of like comes to fruition, and we can see how either right or wrong we were.
Yeah, exactly. I have to have you on my podcast too.
I would love that because I will rant about literally anything.
Yay. Thank you so much.
Thank you. So where can the listeners of Ready to Be Petty find you and your podcast?
Yeah, so you can find the Leeza Rants Podcast on Apple and the Apple Podcast app and Spotify. Follow us on social media at Leeza Rants and LeezaRants.com.
I love it. Thank you again so much for coming on. It was a delight.
Thank you. I loved it. I had so much fun.
Thank you so much for listening, and thank you again to Leeza for joining me on the podcast today. If you like what you heard, leave us a 5-star rating and review on Apple Podcasts. You can also follow along on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook at RTBP Podcast. And we also have a Facebook group for listeners of the pod at Ready to Be Petty Podcast Group. I hope you are healthy and well. As always, I'm your host, Torry, and I'm ready to be petty. See you soon. Bye.